Route 1 Pokémon. Some of the weakest Pokémon you can find and use. Most of them are discarded early on and barely see the first gym of their respective games. But I want to prove all those doubters wrong, showing the true strength of the Route 1. Now, the challenge was originally set as a Nuzlocke, but we failed that very quickly, not even earning our second badge. But I wanted to see this challenge through to the end. Rather than restarting and creating a new Nuzlocke, we continued on with this one without the Nuzlocke rule set, to see if we can truly beat the challenge. If you want to watch the first part of the video, the link to it will be in the description below. So now let's continue on with our journey and get in redemption for the second badge. Within Scarlet and Violet there are a total of 18 badges, 8 for each gym, 5 for each Titan and 5 for each Starbase, which can all be collected in any order we choose. However, for this run we will be collecting each bag by the next highest level Pokemon within that badge battle. So for badge 2 it's Cloth the Stony Cliff Titan, and the Pokemon we failed the Nuzlocke on. Making our way there, the fight commences. We start off with Turnip, who is able to do a lot of damage thanks to the absorbs, healing a little bit after each hit, allowing them to take an additional few more hits. They do eventually get knocked down, but not before bringing Cloth down to half health. Not Pikachu is next up, but is too slow and KO'd before they can even get a single move off. It's now Todd's time. They get hit by a not very effective Rock Smash, doing a minimal amount of damage, and in return hit a Struggle Bug, which also lowers Cloth's special attack stat. The next turn Todd is hit by a block, but it doesn't matter as another Struggle Bug brings Cloth down into red, and the range it takes him to retreat to the Herba Mystic cave. Following Cloth down, we end up in another battle, but this time with Cloth being beefed up. However, we have Arvin to help us this time around. Birdo starts with the fight getting an Ember off, but it doesn't even scratch Cloth, so we swap back into Todd, who uses Struggle Bug after a Struggle buff, slowly chipping away at Cloth's health, with Arvin's Shelter doing the same with Water Guns for super effective damage. Despite Todd falling to a Rock Tomb, Shelter finishes them off with a Water Gun and the fight is won. We're now able to enter the cave, make ourselves a sandwich, earn badge number 2, and our future bike of Miraidon unlocks the ability to boost for more speed. Time to make our way to badge 3, located in Artazon for gym number 2. The gym challenge is easy enough, we just have to run around the city and locate 10 hidden Sunfloras, and this takes no time at all. With the challenge out of the way, we are free to take on Brassius, the grass type master. Now their first two Pokemon are Petalil and Smoliv, and are easy enough for Birdo to take out. However, Sudowoodo is a completely different story. Despite terastallizing to grass and being weak to half of our team, Rock Throw is able to one-shot the 3 Pokemon who have a type advantage, and the others are taken down by a boosted Trailblaze, boosting Sudowoodo's speed in the process, causing them to outspeed and one-shot our whole team. 3 attempts later, we decide what we're doing is not working and we need to level up our team a bit, so we make our way some Terra Raids from some XP candies. Our 4th attempt still ends up being a failure, but it is the closest we've come to victory so far, needing only a slightly bit more damage to finish off Sudowoodo. Returning to Mesagoza, we buy a couple of items to boost our Pokemon's attack and retry for our 5th attempt. We start the battle off with Todd, who hits a super effective Bug Bite against Petalil, bringing them to down half HP. They return with a Mega Drain, but it heals only a small amount thanks to it not being super effective. Another Bug Bite and Petalil is out for the count. Next up is Smoliv. Bug Bite brings Smoliv to a 3rd health remaining, while a Tackle in return brings Todd down to 25 health, just over half. Bug Bite once again finishes the job. Now for the dreaded Sudowoodo. Todd does outspeed, dealing a little bit of damage before they fall to a Rock Throw. Not Pikachu is now up, outspeeding and hitting a Nuzzle, which barely leaves a scratch, but is not the damage we are wanting, but the guaranteed effect of paralysing Sudowoodo, halving their speed stat and a chance for them not being able to move each turn. Sudowoodo does hit through with a Trailblaze, knocking out Not Pikachu, but they had already done their job. It's now Birdo's turn. terrestrializing to normal to remove their flying typing and stopping rock throws from one-shotting. They hit an Ember, bringing Sudowoodo to just above half health. But unfortunately they do get hit by a Trailblaze in return, bringing Birdo to also just under half health. Not being able to take another hit, a Terra boosted quick attack then brings Sudowoodo to half health and finishes off Birdo with another Trailblaze. It's now time for Poochyena. Sudowoodo does outspeed now, but is luckily paralysed and unable to move that turn. A Fire Fang does half of Sudowoodo's remaining health. Sudowoodo hits this turn with once more another Trailblaze, but Poochyena is still left standing with half health remaining, and another Fire Fang takes care of Sudowoodo, winning us the fight and our third badge from the second gym. A very tough battle, but our team was able to pull through in the end. Next on our hit list is Titan number 2, the Open Sky Titan. Making our way there, Irving calls us saying that he's on his way and gives us a little bit of information about the Titan. Climbing up the cliff, dodging the boulders being rolled down, we make our way up to Bomberbird, the Open Sky Titan, and start off our first fight, which is lost very quickly, but we do end up bringing him down to half health. A quick bit of leveling to bring our team more in line with Bomberbirder's level, we climb back up again and try again. A completely different story this time around, as Not Pikachu is able to paralyse them with a Nuzzle and get them to just below half health with a few Thundershocks. Birdo then finishes the job off with a Terra boosted quick attack, followed by a Terra boosted flail. There is no time to heal and we are right back into the fight with a Herba Mystica boosted Bomberbirder. But this time we have Arvin by our side. A combination of Disarming Voice from Laporte and Irvin's Nautica using super effective smackdowns chips away Bomberbirder's health. Laporte does unfortunately fall, but Poochyena comes out taking their place, finishing the fight off with a Fire Fang. Bomberbirder is down, and the Herba Mystica is free for the taking, and to be made into a sandwich, earning badge number 4. Also unlocking Miraidon's ability to swim, and learning the reason why Irvin is pursuing the different Herba Mysticas to heal his severely wounded partner of Mabostiff. Probably said that wrong. It's now time to tackle our first Team Star base. Upon approach, we are stopped at the gate by 2 members of Team Star, refusing us entry unless we beat them in a battle. A couple quick attacks from our Birdo brings their Murkrow down to a 3rd health before falling to a wing attack. Luckily, Not Pikachu is able to finish off the job, despite getting hit by a wing attack themselves. A Thundershock finishes off Murkrow, and the Team Star member retreats into their base. Time to take on the base, and this is done using the Let's Go mode. Before we are able to take on the boss, we have to defeat 30 Pokemon around the base using our first 3 members of our team, all while using the Let's Go mode. We have 10 minutes to complete it, but that is nowhere near the amount of time that we need, and we easily dispatched of the 30. It's now time for the Team Star base of Giacomo, who is a master of the Dark type. Birdo is able to get their Portnard down to red before falling, with Not Pikachu coming out to finish them off with a quick attack, and a burn proc from a earlier Ember. Now their car of Reverum is a struggle, outspeeding our whole team and managing to knock each of our Pokemon out within 1 or 2 hits with Wicked Tilku, causing us to lose without even getting them to half health. We tried the battle a few more times, but it is always the same outcome, and since we already are at the level cap, the win doesn't seem likely, unless we can figure something out. While we think of a solution, we make our way to Levincia to take on Gym 3 instead, since they are a similar-ish level cap. Before we are able to take on the gym, we do first have to prove ourselves to Nomura in a Pokemon battle. The battle is a challenge, but luckily it's nothing our team can't handle. With Nomura out of the way, we are now free to take on the gym challenge. All we have to do is find Director Calvin 3 times in 3 different images, and in between each one we take on an Iona fan club member. An easy and quick enough challenge. Onwards to the gym. The reason we decided to go for Iona is we thought it might be a little bit easier since we don't have to deal with a big tanky car. However, that is not the case. Their first Pokemon of Wattrel is simple enough, but we cannot get past the wall that is Bellibolt. is too much of a tank, and his ability of Electromorphosis, which boosts their electric type attacks if they hit first, is too much for our team to handle. Keeping with the level cap no longer seems possible, as our opponent's Pokemon are starting to get stronger and stronger by no longer being locked to be in first form evolutions compared to our unevolved Pokemon. So back to the candies we go. With our team now between level 27 to 29, we decide to retry the team star base first. Poochyena versus Pornard. 2 hits of Fire Fang take down Pornard with ease, only being hit by a Fury Cutter in return for a total of 20 points of damage. It's now time for the Dark type Starmobile. Poochyena, Terrastalize Todd and Lapork slowly but surely chip away their health with each attack. Finally bringing them down to red for Birdo to swoop in and finish them off with a couple of quick attacks. The team star base has finally been conquered. We learn a little bit about their background and why they were created in the first place before earning our first team star badge, and our 5th badge in total. With the team star base down, it is now time for our rematch with Ino. Our first rematch is, well, a loss. However, at least this time around we were able to get past the Bellibolt and made our way to their final Pokemon on Mismagius. Attempt number 2 was a failure once more, but it does seem possible. With better team placement and using each Pokemon at the right time, it should be doable. So we jump right back in for attempt number 3. The fight starts off with Wattrel versus Poochyena. Since Wattrel does outspeed, we are able to use their spark attacks against them, as hitting an Assurance after being hit doubles its damage, letting us take down Wattrel in just 2 hits. Bellibolt is out next, and finishes off Poochyena with a spark. Time for Lapork. Setting up a dig, we are missed by their first attack, but due to outspeeding we are hit by a power boosted spark, leaving Lapork at just 9 HP. Another dig brings Bellibolt to 1/3 of their health remaining, but it's the last turn for Lapork. Not Pikachu then finishes off Bellibolt with another 2 more digs, but is also hit by a boosted spark, leaving them on just 16 HP. Luxio is their next Pokemon up. Knowing they are going to outspeed, we go for a quick attack, for that little bit of extra chip damage before falling to a bite. It's now Birdo's time. Terrastalizing to remove our electric type weakness, we hit a boosted quick attack, bringing Luxio's health to half. Being hit by a spark in return brings us to just above half, but this is to our benefit, as it allows Flail to do additional damage and finishes off Luxio next turn. Now for their Terra Electric Mismagius. They do unfortunately outspeed and get off a Confuse rate, but Birdo does fight past the confusion, hitting a Flail, doing just over 1/3 of their health. Assuming the next hit from Mismagius is going to KO, we go for a quick attack. Snapping out of confusion, quick attack connects and deals about half of their remaining health. Mismagius then hits us in return with a charge beam, but being the champ that they are, Birdo does hang on, with just 5 HP remaining. Another quick attack finishes the job, knocking out Mismagius, winning us the battle against Ino and completing the 3rd gym. The 3rd gym badge is ours, bringing us to a total of 6 badges altogether. Team Starbase number 2, run by Melia, a fire type user. Just like the first base, we have to defeat the guarding grunt before making our way in, fighting off 30 Pokemon around the area. Once again, this part was easy enough. Melia, however, not so much. Similar to the first base, their first Pokemon isn't too much of a threat, being able to take them down without too much of a struggle, only losing 1 Pokemon in the process. However, it's when it comes to the Starmobile the true battle begins. Attempt after attempt, we can barely manage to bring the Starmobile down to half health before blacking out. Not having enough damage and barely being able to take more than 2 hits. After each attempt, we level up a bit by bit, as it is the only way we are able to get the damage needed and the survivability to inflict it. Level 34, that's where our team is at, and the level we needed for a successful attempt. Torkoal goes down to a combination of digs from Lapork and not Pikachu, along with a final Extra Entry from Owl. Although Lapork and not Pikachu both got knocked out in the process. Owl, Todd and Poochyena all then put in work against the Starmobile. Bringing it to just below half, it is now up for Birdo to finish off the job. Terrastalizing Birdo, we go for some boosted flails, as the Starmobile is definitely going to outspeed us, lowering our health a bit by bit each turn. In turn, this increases Flail's damage even more. One more hit from the Starmobile will KO Birdo, so we have to go for a quick attack and pray we have dealt enough damage already. And it is enough, and the Starmobile falls. The second Team Star base has been conquered. We then learn more about the Team Star background and afterwards are given our 7th badge. Time for another Titan, Orthworm the still lurking Titan. Located in East Province Area 3, Poochyena is definitely the right starter for this fight, with its super effective move of Fire Fang plus the chance to inflict burn. They managed to bring Orthworm down to about half health, which would have been able to keep going had they not been hit by a crit headbutt knocking them out. Lapork is next up into battle for their super effective move of Dig. However, I forgot about Orthworm's ability of Earth Eater, which instead of taking damage from ground type moves, it actually heals off it, which wiped away a fair amount of work that Poochyena put in. Lapork does redeem themselves though, by bringing Orthworm back to where they were about with a few headbutts before falling themselves. It's now Owl's turn. Extra Sentry and a few air slashes bring Orthworm into almost retreat range, with Birdo having to come in to finish off the job with a quick attack. After healing back up, we chase down the Orthworm to the Herb and Mystica cave and fight them once more. This time we have Irvin at our side. Both Fire Fangs from Poochyena and Grass Snots from the Toad School make short work of Orthworm, unlocking the entrance to the cave, making another sandwich, earning our 8th badge, and unlocking Miraidon's ability of higher jumps. For badge number 9, we make our way to Cascarrafa to tackle the 4th gym. The gym challenge here is very simple. We have to bring Kofu his wallet, as he forgot it when he was in such a rush to make its way to the auction happening in Porto Maronidia. After his wallet, he sets us up with a new challenge to win the auction. I don't actually know if you can even fail this, but it is simple enough. We just keep buying slightly higher above the last bid until we are the only one left standing. This does also unlock the activity of bidding for rare items, but there is nothing that will actually help us out in this run. Returning to Cascarrafa, it is time to take on the gym. Velza versus not Pikachu is how the battle starts off, and due to us being close to the desert, the sandstorm is persistent throughout. Hitting a spark deals over half damage to Velza, but a return fire of Aqua Cutter knocks out not Pikachu. Lapork is up next and is hit by an Aqua Cutter, dealing over half health, but a Headbutt brings Berserker down to red, and the Sandstorm brings them into range of being KO'd next turn by another Sandstorm tick, which is exactly what happened. The Verza does take out Lapork, but they fall themselves to the Sandstorm. We then choose Poochyena as our next Pokemon, and they go for Wugtrio. Poochyena's Quick Claw procs, and it allows us to get off a quick crunch, dealing about a third of their health before Wugtrio returns fire with a headbutt. This time around, Wugtrio does go first, and sends another headbutt our way, bringing Poochyena down to 12, but another crunch knocks out Wugtrio. Crabominable is Kofu's final Pokemon. Another Quick Claw proc allows Poochyena to hit as soon as Crabominable has finished terastallizing. The crunch deals about a quarter of their health, and they miss themselves a slam. Getting lucky, we hit another Quick Claw proc, with another crunch bringing Crabominable to just about red, but Poochyena then does fall to a Crab Hammer. To finish off the job, Birdo comes in and hits an aerial ace. Victory is ours, and Gym Badge 4 has been obtained. for a total of 9 badges now. That was probably one of the easiest gym battles we've had to do for a while, which does make a nice change. Team Starbase 3 is next on our list, and while the battle at the gate and clearing the 30 Pokemon are no problem at all, the leader is a different matter entirely. From this point on, the bosses no longer have one Pokemon and the Starmobile, but have a team of 3 and the Starmobile. We were barely able to get past them as it was, but after trying this boss multiple times, we can't even get past their second Pokemon. It's clear we need to do another level grind. However, it's here where I make a big mistake. In order to save time grinding out the Terra raids, I decided to send our team over to my main save for Pokemon Violet, which has a lot of XP candies just lying around. After leveling them up and returning them to the save, they would no longer obey me. Unaware to me at the time, the obedience mechanic was actually changed in this generation. Before, if a Pokemon was moved out of a game and then returned to it, they would still obey you even if the level was above their current level cap, as long as it was the same trainer ID and was caught in that game. However, this has since been changed. Now, when returning to the original game, its capture level gets changed to the level it returned as, despite being caught in the game at a lower level and having our same ID. Basically, our team members are useless until we can collect the gym badge, which allows us to use the Pokemon past that level. It is impossible for us to continue this challenge with a disobedient team, and we would need to somehow earn 3 gym badges in this state before we are able to use them again. But rather than calling it then and there, and wanting to see this challenge through to the end, we go back and catch some substitute members for our team for now, leveling up back to where they were and the needed level to retake on this Team Star base. Returning to the Poison Crew and their leader of Atikius. I'm gonna pronounce so many name wrongs. We start off with Owl and then with Stun Tank. Owl hits us with a Sucker Punch as we get off an Air Slash. The turn then repeats itself, but this time Stun Tank falls with Owl sitting at 48 HP left. Muck is up next, and Air Slash does about a quarter of Muck's health, with a Sludge Bomb coming our way bringing Owl down to 15 HP. Now Roost is actually able to out-heal Muck's Sludge Bombs, so after using a few and attacking with extra sentries while we have some free health, we are able to KO Muck. Rivaroom is out next, which outspeeds and finishes off Owl with an Iron Head. Poochyena is next out, and we have finally gotten around to nicknaming them, of Pokey. Unfortunately, they do go round to a crit Iron Head. Lepork's turn. As an Iron Head comes their way, they hang on with a third health remaining and go for a dig. Hitting the dig, next turn KOs Rivaroom in one shot. Now for their final Pokemon of the Team Starmobile. Lepork falls instantly, so Birdo comes out for revenge. We get hit by a Noxus Torque, dealing 39 points of damage, and then fly up and ascend on them next turn, chipping away at their health. Knowing we can survive for another hit, we Terastallize for a boosted flail, bringing the Starmobile to just above half health, while us sitting at 41 HP. Looking at the damage we've taken so far, if we get hit one more time and it's not a crit, we should be surviving on 1 HP, and Flail will be at its max potential, dealing a lot of damage. And well, Noxious Torque brings Birdo to 1. Flail hits back and wipes out the Starmobile's remaining health. Victory is ours. Another base down, and once more we learn more about Team Star's background and are awarded our 10th badge. With the Team Star base now defeated, we return once more to the gyms. This time for everyone's favourite guy of Larry. Larry is a normal type master, but he's still a chill guy. Anyway, the battle starts off with our Owl versus their Komala. A few air slashes and a lucky flinch take out Komala, only being hit by one slam in the process. The Dunsparce is next up. Owl manages to get off an air slash before getting hit by a glare, paralysing Owl. The Dunsparce now outspeeds, and a Hyper Drill knocks out Owl. Not Pikachu is next up, who goes for a Spark, bringing the Dunsparce down to a third health remaining, but they also fall to a Hyper Drill. Pookie is now up, and despite getting hit by a Glare, they manage to survive, connecting 2 Sucker Punches for the KO. Now for their final Pokemon of Staraptor. Pookie manages to get off a Sucker Punch, dealing about a quarter health before falling to a Terra boosted Facade. Lapork is then next up, who gets hit by a Facade but manages to hold on, returning with a Double Edge, bringing Staraptor to a quarter health remaining. But unfortunately they do knock themselves in the process thanks to the recoil damage. It's now Birdo's time to shine. Getting hit by a Facade from Staraptor brings us down to half. But as I assumed we would survive, we hit back with a Terra boosted Flail, in return KOing Staraptor, winning us the battle. Larry, the normal type master, is down, and our 5th gym badge is now ours, for a total of 11 badges altogether. After the match, we have another battle with Nomura, this time with the Paldean champion watching. However, we are brutally destroyed in this fight. Luckily enough though, it doesn't actually matter if we win or lose here, so we are now free to move on to our next badge despite the loss. And that next badge is the next gym, located in the snowy city of Montenevera. The gym challenge for this gym is fairly simple. The gym specialises in double battles, so we just have to defeat 3 trainers in a double battle, and it's done just like that. Time for Rhyme, the gym leader and a ghost type master. Following how most of our previous battles have gone, we lose the first fight, which was kind of a blessing at the same time as my capture device decided to stop working halfway through. Now for attempt number 2, and well, it was a piece of cake, despite being a double battle. Despite losing our first fight, we did learn something from it, and that is that their Pokemon only use damaging moves. And with this information, we are able to Terrestrialize Poké to a Dark type, boosting their Dark type damage, and one-shot their whole team with Sucker Punch. Other than Mimikyu, due to the Disguise ability. Our easiest battle so far, and it makes a big change from how the last few battles have gone. Gym Badge 6 is ours for a total of 12 altogether. For our next badge, we make our way to Alfornada, home of the 7th gym. On arrival, before we are even able to tackle the gym challenge, let alone the gym, we bump into Nomura once more. And well, she wants to test our strength. And just like before, we are easily defeated. Luckily enough, it's another battle which doesn't matter whether we win or lose, so we are free to take on the gym challenge anyway, followed by the gym leader, without having to worry about trying to win this fight. The gym challenge is pretty easy. It's basically just a quick time event, having to push the correct button with the correct facial expression connected to it, with 2 rounds of battles in between each one. After the challenge is completed, we are free to take on the gym leader of Tulip. Now, our key Pokemon for this fight is definitely going to be Pookie, having both a type advantage and immunity against Tulip's team. However, our first attempt isn't the best. Forgetting about Farafrig's ability of Armor Tail, stopping Sucker Punch, and some nice damage which we could have got off if it connected, causing us to lose Pookie early on in the battle, our ace for this, and we then proceed to lose the rest of our team to Espinavia. Maybe I got that one right? I don't know. Before going back in, knowing we could do with a little bit more damage for Pookie to dish out, we pick up a pair of black sunglasses for the boosted Dark type damage. The fight then begins once more, with Farafrig and Pookie both exchanging blows of crunch. However, we have the type advantage, bringing Farafrig down while Pookie is still alive with above half health. Next out is Gardevoir, and knowing that their fairy type attacks will make short work of Pookie, we swap into Todd to take a few hits, to eventually get a free switch into Birdo when Todd falls. A Steel Wing from Birdo brings Gardevoir to health. They then return fire with a Psychic, which Birdo barely manages to hang in with 18 HP, but outspeeding another Steel Wing connects, taking out Gardevoir. Espinavia, the Pokemon that stopped our last attempt, is now on the field. A quick attack from Birdo does a little bit of chip damage before going down to a Psychic. Pokey then returns to the battle, and a Sucker Punch brings Esplandia down before they are able to deal any more damage. Now for Tulip's final Pokemon of Florges. Sucker Punch once again does its job, bringing Florges to just above red thanks to the Terastallizing into the Fairy type. Unfortunately, a Moonblast then comes our way and Pokey falls. Owl is then up next, who is hit by a Moonblast, dealing a lot more damage than I have liked, but returns fire with an Air Slash, leaving Florges with just a small amount of health remaining. Psychic then finishes off Owl, but to end the fight, Not Pikachu is up next and a quick attack does the job, dealing enough damage to Florges to reduce their health to 0. Defeating Tulip and the 7th gym in the process. Gym badge 7 is now ours, and we have a total of 13 badges in our hand. Time for a break from the gyms, and we make our way to the next Titan. But beforehand, we do swap out Todd for Charger, the grubbin we caught way back before we started collecting badges. Todd has done their job well so far, but they have a very limited moveset and are starting to fall in one hit from almost every Pokemon we've been facing. Bringing in Charger seems like it's the best move for the time being. Now on to the next Titan. Iron Treads, the Quaking Earth Titan. Honestly, I still don't really know the best way to narrate the Titans. They're basically just a DPS check with Pokemon, dealing damage with a wide variety of moves from all of our Pokemon until they either fall or the Titan falls themselves. Eventually we do enough damage and they retreat to the Herba Mystica cave, fighting them once more with Irvin helping out, and we make short work of them with both their Scorvillain and our Pookie using Fire Fang after Fire Fang for super effective damage. Once Iron Treads has been dealt with, we are able to make our way into the cave, find the Herba Mystica, make a couple of sandwiches and are awarded our next badge, along with Miraidon unlocking their ability to glide. 14 badges. Time for the final gym badge. Gym 8 is located on its lonesome atop Glaseado mountain. Fittingly enough, they're an ice type specialist. The gym challenge for this gym is pretty easy. All we have to do is slide down a ski slope on Miraidon within a set time, and with plenty of time to spare we complete it with ease. Time for Grusha, the ice type master, who definitely made some people feel confused. The first battle against them was a flop. His Steel Titan was too much of a powerhouse and a tank for our team to handle and wipes us out. After doing, well, you guessed it, some more leveling, we return for our rematch. The fight starts off with Birdo versus Frostmoth. Outspeeding, we go for a fly, dodging a blizzard and then coming down next turn, one-shotting Frostmoth. Bear Arctic is out next, and to remove our ice type weakness we Terastallize into the normal type, hitting a Steel Wing, dealing just below half health. An Icicle Crash then comes our way, and thanks to Terastallizing, Birdo just hangs on. Following up, we go for a flail, leaving Bear Arctic on what looks like 1 HP remaining, who then proceeds to knock out Birdo with another Icicle Crash. To finish off Bear Arctic, Not Pikachu comes out for a quick attack. Steel Titan, the wall who we could not pass last time. A Wild Charge from Not Pikachu deals about a quarter of their health, but unfortunately cannot survive the Ice Spinner that comes their way. Although despite it falling, Not Pikachu's ability of Static is procced, inflicting paralysis on Z-Titan. Pookie is our next Pokemon up, and a Fire Fang brings them to just above half, with an Ice Stinger in return bringing Pookie to 27. Pookie gets off one more move of Sucker Punch, bringing Steel Titan into the red before going down to an Ice Shard. To take revenge, Lapork is up, and outspeeds with a Headbutt sealing the deal, and Steel Titan is out. Time for Grusha's final Pokemon of Altaria. Despite being their ace, their final Pokemon was no problem at all, mainly thanks to them missing 4 Hurricanes in a row, allowing Lapork's Headbutt to chip away their health. Finally, the 5th headbutt does connect, dealing over half damage to Lapork, but unfortunately is not enough, as another headbutt knocks out Altaria. The battle is ours, winning our final gym badge, earning the 8th gym badge and our 15th in total. We're now able to take on the Elite Four and the Champion, but we still have a few more badges to collect from the other story arcs. 2 more Team Star bases and the final Titan Pokemon. The Fairy type Team Star base is our next stop. Just like the others, getting in is pretty simple enough. Defeating a trainer blocking the entrance and then wiping out the 30 Pokemon inside the base, using Let's Go mode. The boss, on the other hand, not so much. The issue is their Dashabun. Outspeeding our whole team and is able to deal with them within 1 or 2 hits, with us barely doing any damage in return. The one attempt we did manage to get past them, our team had taken too many hits and couldn't even touch the Team Star Mobile. So once again our only option is to level up and try again. We return with level 70 Pokemon. We're definitely starting to push it. Not Pikachu is able to 2-shot their Azumarill with Discharge, not taking any damage in return thanks to paralysing the Azumarill. Wigglytuff is brought out and is reduced to just half HP plus getting paralysed with another Discharge, but they do take out Not Pikachu with a single Play Rough. Owl is up next, hitting an Air Slash, getting a lucky flinch, and the next turn another Air Slash crit KOs Wigglytuff. The bane of their team, Dashbun is out. Outspeeding Dashbun deals half damage to Owl, while Owl returns fire with an Air Slash, bringing them to almost half. Another Play Rough from Dashbun knocks out Owl, despite not doing half last turn. I guess it must have just been a ranged hit. A Sucker Punch from Pookie brings Dashbun to half health before falling to a super effective Play Rough. Birdo then comes out strong with a Steel Wing, outspeeding and finishing off Dashbun. Now time for the Starmobile. A Steel Wing and a Terra boosted low health Flail do a lot of damage to the Starmobile, bringing them to about a quarter health remaining before Birdo falls. Charger then chips away them down to red, and Lapork is then up as our final Pokemon, surviving a magical Chorkyu and are able to fight past their confusion. Lapork takes them down with 2 headbutts. Battle is won, and another Team Star base has been defeated. We once more learn more about their background and are awarded our 16th badge. One more base left, and that is where we're heading straight to. The final Team Star base, which specialises in fighting types. The battle at the gate and defeating the 30 Pokemon inside the base are once again simple enough, but the final boss, not so much. This time around, it's Annihilate who is our problem, outspeeding and outdamaging our whole team, wiping us out again and again and again. Once more we go on another level grind, and it almost wins us the fight this time around, but their Team Starmobile is just left with a sliver of health remaining. But we are losing our Pokemon slightly too early, almost being able to one-shot their whole team with Birdo, but lacking that little extra damage. However, we are able to find that extra damage that we need without leveling up anymore, by buying a Sharp Beak which boosts the power of Flying type's move by 20%. With this new item in hand and a few key switches to reduce their team's defense when they go for their close combats, we're able to push through, dealing with each of their Pokemon one by one, and with Owl dealing the final blow to the Starmobile, earning us another victory. The final Team Star base has been cleared, and once again we learn more about Team Star's background, and earn our 17th badge. With the Team Star base cleared, we learn that the big boss of Team Star was actually Cassiopeia? Yeah, I'm not getting that right, so I'm not even going to restart to try that. Was their big boss the whole time, and is wanting to face us for one final showdown in the school courtyard. But before we go and take them on, we still have one final badge left to collect. The final Titan Pokemon along with our final badge, and it is against Dondozo, the False Dragon Pokemon. Their first phase is a walk in the park, with 2 discharges from Not Pikachu causing them to move right away to the Herba Mystica cave. Now with Irvin at our side, we take on Dondozo once more, and the battle plays out the same, although this time around they do take a couple more discharges thanks to them swallowing a Tatsugiri who ate the Herba Mystica. Despite Dondozo being taken care of, we have another battle, this time against the swallowed Tatsugiri. The battle is a bit more of a challenge this time, as our moves are no longer super effective thanks to Tatsugiri's additional dragon typing, but nonetheless Not Pikachu and Irvin's Gregan put in the work, bringing Tatsugiri down to just under half before both fall, and Owl then comes out to finish the job with a few Moonblasts. With Dondozo and Tatsugiri both now dealt with, we are able to make our way inside the cave, make a sandwich, and earn our last badge for a total of 18 out of 18. Along with all of Miraidon's ability unlocked, with the final one being the ability to climb. Plus, Irvin has now completed his goal, and the final sandwich heals his Mabostiffs to be as right as rain. To finish off the 3 story arcs, we have to take on the Elite Four on the champion, stop the Team Star's final boss, and help Arvin with some secret stuff to do with Area Zero and his father, but that is unfortunately going to have to wait until the next and final video in this Route 1 only challenge. Initially this was going to be the rest of the game, but it's already a long video in itself, plus the challenge is still going on. It's a lot more difficult than I initially thought, and I'm still working on it. I also did miss 1 week as this was meant to come out last Friday, but took a bit longer to finish than expected. But still, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment or subscribe. I know everyone says it, but it really does help out the video a lot. We also now have a members button, so if you are wanting to help support the videos even more, you can click the join button below. You get access to the new videos 24 hours earlier than everyone else, plus some cool emotes, and a shout out at the end of the video. Currently, yeah, it's just a Zulu. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.